What does the state of Texas represent? Why can it become the leader of the new confederacy, and how is the situation on the Texas-Mexico border related to Ukraine? The migrant crisis in Texas is growing. In December, the number of migrants from Mexico who crossed the Rio Grande River exceeded 225,000. In January, the Texas governor brought in state troops instead of the feds to protect the borders. Migrants are no longer allowed through Texas. President Biden, having secured a Supreme Court ruling, demands that the state troops be withdrawn and the fences removed. The governor is not complying. He is backed by the governors of 25 other Republican states. Aid to Texas is being flown in by air, moved by train. This aid is mostly military. Its support from other rebellious states. All of America is now watching the Texas versus Washington battle. The governor of Oklahoma is already directly sending troops to Texas. While it is still a long way from a civil war in the U.S., there is open defiance of the state of Texas and a constitutional crisis. What does this have to do with Ukraine? Financial aid to Ukraine will be blocked in the U.S. Senate until the migrant issue is somehow resolved. That's how the two issues on the Senate floor vote are connected, and defiance by the state of Texas is the norm for the state in general. It is Texas, as many in the U.S. believe, that could become the capital of the Confederacy, the future leader of the new America, of course. In a hypothetical future, but events could start to unfold unpredictably right now. Why so? And what does the Republic of Texas even represent? The conventional wisdom is that Texas is where cowboys in hats, saloons, shootouts, and oil rigs are. Cacti, desert, coyotes howling at night. Where my grandmother sits on the porch with her neighbors in the evening with her rifle resting on a chair. Yeah, that's what happened. And even, in principle, so it is, at least for gullible tourists, left a few souvenir saloons. And Texans like to pose in cowboy hats and boots and dance to country. And, as the rumor goes, Texans are always very courteous to the ladies. George Bush, Jr. was very fond of posing in a cowboy hat and promoting some Texas values. He is the former governor of Texas, but in the last 100 years, Texas has gone from a cowboy state to a modern developed super-tech state. It is now a high-tech state. Texas is the state with the highest standard of living in the United States, with the highest economic growth in the country. If the state were an independent state, its economy would be number 12 in the world rankings, or even possibly number 10 the governor's opinion, or even number 8. And an independent Texas would rank 7th in oil production in the world. Texas ranks 1st in the U.S. in both oil production and a number of other items: wool production, cotton production, aerospace, biomedicine, various innovations, and high technology. Texas is home to the largest nuclear power plant in the United States. There is also a huge nuclear weapons production plant located in the state. Some of the U.S. nuclear weapons are stored here. Between the main cities of the state, Austin, Houston, and Dallas, they promise to launch a supersonic train soon. The number of population in Texas is 23 million. Texas is the second most populous state in America, after California. It is also the second largest state in America, after Alaska. At least 1 million people have moved here from other states in the last 10 years. Reasons: economic. The state has no income tax and very low prices compared to other states in America for rent and food. Religious and family. It is a conservative state that upholds traditional family values. Political. The state is a Republican state. 55% of the state's residents are non-European in origin. It is the most non-white state in the country. Even the wife of today's governor, the current First Lady, is Hispanic. 20% of the state's residents are foreign-born. The name Lone Star State is a reminder of Texas' brief period of independence. The red, white, and blue Texas flag features a single star. Today, it is a symbol of independence and defiance of control. Residents like to refer to their state as the Republic of Texas. They traditionally, en masse, regard Washington and the central government as a foreign government. The state regularly files lawsuits against the U.S. government. In the last 13 years, 40 lawsuits have been officially filed. The current governor, Greg Abbott, has been particularly distinguished by the number of lawsuits against the government. He even had a joke, "How does my workday go? I come to work, sue Barack Obama, and go home." Texas has an abundance of natural resources and as many as 10 climate regions. One Texas ranch, bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island. Texas is bigger than France, bigger than Germany. You can see stickers on cars in the colors of the flags of France and Texas. The colors are the same. Man say, Texas is 10% bigger. Can you buy guns and own them legally in Texas? Yes, except for artillery. There are 30,000 privately owned machine guns registered in the state, in addition to pistols, machine guns and rifles. In 2021, Governor Abbott signed an executive order that short-barreled weapons can be carried in the state without an ID check, license, or training. By doing so, the state has removed all restrictions on carrying guns. This state is the only one in America that can theoretically hold a popular referendum on independence since it entered the Union as an independent state. True, there is also a Supreme Court ruling back in 1869, which prohibits any state from such actions. This is where the notorious rednecks, i.e., working people, live. They are so called because of the tan that all those who work outdoors get. Today, the state's population is employed in the high-tech industry, so they are rednecks not outwardly, but inwardly. Conservatives, traditionalists, they are the ones who are supporters of Trump and his policies. Today's Texas Governor Greg Abbott is a man of great courage and willpower. The governor is unfortunately confined to a wheelchair. When he was 26 years old, an oak tree fell on him during his morning jog. Greg Abbott underwent several surgeries and had metal pins implanted in his spine, but he hasn't been able to walk since. This tragic event did not prevent him from first becoming a famous lawyer, serving as a judge, and later being a state prosecutor for 13 years. Since 2015, Greg Abbott is the governor of Texas. He is a staunch conservative, a supporter of common sense, family values. To understand why exactly Texas has found itself the epicenter of the conflict over migrants, it is enough to look at a map. Texas has a long border with Mexico, where millions of migrants come from. Greg Abbott's latest speeches are already accusations against Biden, who colluded with the drug cartels and those allegedly pay him for migrants. The governor's intentions are evidenced by the fact that he signed an executive order, $1 billion in 2024. The state allocates to protect and strengthen the border. Despite the Supreme Court decision in favor of the feds and Washington, Texas is now redoubling efforts to strengthen its border. The governor promised the state's residents that he would protect them and prevent the Biden administration from destroying our property. The National Guard in Texas is 20,000 strong, plus there are other troops. Plus there's help coming from Oklahoma, Alabama, Ohio, Louisiana, and a host of other states are ready to join. All the TV stations are broadcasting footage, the Texas Guard marching to the border, being filmed by dozens and hundreds of journalists and those who just want to have a video for history. The governors of 25 Republican states support Gregory Abbott. They write in their message, "The Biden administration has attacked Texas to Biden's demand that the border be turned over to federal troops. Governor Abbott has already responded, no, Texas will not comply. And Ukraine? One could pathetically say that the fate of Ukraine is now being decided on the banks of the Rio Grande, the river on which the Texas National Guard stands guard. But it is not. Ukraine's fate was decided long ago. The situation on the Rio Grande, however, is accelerating this downward movement. Well, let us wish the recalcitrant Greg Abbott success in his struggle with Biden and the Democrats, who have decided to rule forever with the help of millions of migrants.